in the Trump administration. Matt Whitaker joins us to discuss tonight. Great to see you, Matt.
Hi, Shannon.
Okay, so Igor Danchenko, now he is this Russian-born researcher based here in the U.S. He was the primary source, apparently, for the Steele dossier. He has new lawyers. He's now asking for a new trial. He's been charged in connection with this Durham investigation with 5 counts of lying to the FBI. What more do you think we will see from Durham, and any predictions on a timeline?
Well, I think anybody that's tried to predict a Durham timeline has already blown those times and dates because, he seems to be very methodical, and that's my experience with him as well. But, Shannon, what we see in this investigation is he is willing to talk to everyone, to look at everything that went into that investigation and all the predication for that investigation in the first place. And if people lied or if people were not truthful when confronted with some of this evidence, then he's willing to charge them. And I think that there still may be other targets potentially, but ultimately I think Andy is absolutely right that, Durham will write a comprehensive report, and that report will lay out how there was no connection between the Trump campaign and the Russian government.
Eli Lake over at Bloomberg Opinion tweets this. He said, "My view is that the news outlets would not have hyped Steele if the FBI didn't give the rest of us the impression that its investigation had confirmed his research. This is why the revelations from Durham and Horowitz are as much an FBI leadership scandal as a media scandal." Your take?
Well, there were very sophisticated players at the top of the FBI at the time, Jim Comey, Andy McCabe, and others, that quite possibly may have misled the media and with a wink and a nod or otherwise suggested that there was some meat to this story and that a legitimate investigation was underway. I think a lot of that was politically motivated. It's sad. I think it's a really difficult time for the FBI that they're going to take years to recover. And, I think to some extent they did a lot of damage to the credibility of the FBI. And it has lingered for quite some time because of that.
I want to ask you, too, about the nationwide instance of crime spiking. We've tracked new homicide records in a number of cities across the country, other crimes spiking as well. San Francisco Mayor London Breed, they're dealing with quite a situation out there. Here is what she is saying now about what's going on.
It's time that the reign of criminals who are destroying our city, it is time for it to come to an end. And it comes to an end when we take the steps to be more aggressive with law enforcement, more aggressive with the changes in our policies, and less tolerant of all the bullshit that has destroyed our city.
All right, that a lot of people would say is an about face from what a lot of California politicians and prosecutors have said. How did we get here?
Well, we've gotten here by mostly a movement to not support the police, whether that's through defunding efforts or through just not having their back politically. And then it's been also these prosecutors who, through their prosecution decisions and allowing criminals to get out on the same day with no cash bail and those types of reforms that they've implemented. And it's staggering that they didn't see this coming and that they didn't think their policies would have such a detrimental effect. And this spike in violent crime is a direct result of that in our major cities. And it's reversible, but it starts with good law enforcement and, making sure that law enforcement is encouraged and supported at every turn.
And quickly, Matt, do you think that turnaround is possible in the short term? We know that morale is at an all-time low for a lot of law enforcement agencies, but a number of cities are waking up and saying we're going to refund this money back into police and we're going to try to hire. Quickly, do you think they can do it?
I do, but it also has to be the Department of Justice not making priorities of parents and airline passengers, instead going after violent trigger pullers in our nation's major cities.
All right, Matt Whitaker, we always appreciate your time. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Shannon. Good to see you. Merry Christmas.
You too.